Hi Jake, I've stumbled on your website. I'm very intrigued as I'm on the same page with you when it comes to your eyes aren't broken point of view. Unfortunately, I didn't know that when I was 20 and did LASIK. My question is, have had any of your clients who have been able to improve their post-LASIK vision after the vision had regressed to as bad or worse as it was prior to the LASIK, or is that a lost cause? Welcome back. So today's email, I get these emails a lot. I really truly get these emails a lot. People asking me questions about the vision post LASIK. And if you think about it, just look at the subscriber numbers of this little channel, which is not that high, and consider how small Endmyopia is in the scheme of things. And yet I get these emails every week, not quite every day, but every week. Somebody's telling me some kind of LASIK horror story, or at the very least a story of where they had LASIK and now their eyes are getting worse again, or as bad as they were before LASIK, or just whatever. Stories like this are super common. And think about if I'm getting these stories all the time and I'm nobody, right? Besides an amazing eye guru. I'm nobody as far as the internet's concerned. And yet I get these messages all the time. So this is clearly a problem. And there are several other videos I did about LASIK, about some of the insane stuff that LASIK surgeons recommend. And this is another one. And the question being, I've had LASIK, why do I need glasses again now? And to answer that question, I'm going to link a blog post that is going to be much less rant and much more informative here below. Look below, blog post, lots more detail, very worthwhile reading. But just to give you the visual rant version of this is, we make the mistake of trusting the establishment. And I know this sounds completely crazy, and believe me, like I resent being part of that contingent in any way, but it is a mistake to trust the mainstream when it comes to health stuff, when it comes to surgery stuff, when it comes to surgery when you're not like bleeding out at that moment and it's either surgery or death, right? Like this elective kind of surgery stuff to fix your vision, huge red flag. It's incredibly profitable. They make a ton of money on it, and it addresses a short-term symptom. So everybody loves it, right? Like they make lots of money, and you get told by them, people that you're told are trustworthy, that this is a good idea. Even though it isn't. Not in any way, I mean, shown by these emails I get all the time. It's a terrible idea. And the reason for this, if you haven't watched any of the other videos, and if you're not familiar, I'll give you the very condensed version. LASIK is not anything different from wearing glasses. In no way, shape, or form. And this is not a conspiracy theory, this is fact. Because what is LASIK? LASIK is cutting a permanent lens into your eye, right? It is in no way different from putting on a pair of glasses or putting on contact lenses. Glasses are lens in front of your eye, cutting a lens into your eye, same thing. Now if you think about it, for most people, probably you included, the first time you got glasses was not the last time you got glasses, right? You got your first pair of glasses, and you get a little bit stronger glasses, and you get a little bit stronger glasses, and you get a little bit stronger glasses. Why that happens, link below, progressive myopia, sorry, lens-induced myopia, all this stuff all over Google Scholar, well known by clinical science, is what happens. You get more myopia if you wear minus lenses in front of your eyes, especially for close-up, especially when you're using screens in front of your eyes like that. This is the big issue, right? So if your myopia is progressive, right, like if it's been higher and higher and higher diopters, then doing LASIK here, do you think this progression stops? LASIK isn't anything different. LASIK is just another pair of lenses, and your progression continues. Now, exceptions for this, plenty of exceptions. If you're really low myopia in the first place, if genetically you're not predisposed to becoming more myopic, myopia isn't genetic, but responding to the stimulus is. So if you're predisposed to becoming more myopic because of glasses, you will become more myopic with LASIK. But if you're not, then maybe you won't. So there's plenty of people who have like one diopter myopia, they get LASIK, they just don't spend a lot of time up close or outside a lot, especially like if you're a pilot or you're doing sports or you're doing anything where you're using variable distance vision, especially at the further end, you might be perfectly okay with LASIK, besides all the other crazy shitty side effects. But as far as myopia is concerned. But if you spend your time in front of a screen, right? If you're doing this every day in front of a screen, links below what causes myopia and how lenses cause myopia, that progression continues. You do the LASIK, that progression continues. And they even have terms for this. Touch up. Like what in the touch up? Like you go back to your LASIK guy like a year or two later saying, hey, I can't really see that well again. And they say you just need a touch up. It's just downhill from there. As far as your risk of complications goes, through the roof. The touch-up does nothing, right? Because you're still on the same progression as you were with glasses before, and they don't tell you this. And who knows what goes on in people's heads, but I'm assuming they're not malicious. I'm assuming that they're idiots. I mean, I don't know any other way to put it, and I always try to be friendly about the mainstream. I always fail at it because I don't know how else you would describe what they're doing other than idiocy. And kind of as far as Western medicine is concerned, and I'm not really big into any other alternative medicine stuff, but it's always been about treating the immediate symptom in front of you, not the problem, right? We never address the problem, we treat the symptom. And the symptom is I can't see clearly. The problem isn't that, the cause isn't that, that's just a symptom. So let's cut a freaking lens into your eye. It's stupid, right? And if you do one quick search on Google for LASIK complications, it's just the amount of horror stories you get are incredible. And few of those horror stories cover the fact that you get myopic again, because that's benign in the scheme of LASIK things. But if you were on a path of progressive myopia before LASIK, right? Like if your myopia was going like this and then you had LASIK, LASIK is just part of that progression. Nothing changes. And the mainstream is incredibly powerful. Everybody's just a little cog in the machine. Like you imagine, you go to school and one of the boxes in what you want to do is optometry, and you check the box. And then you continue school and you decide, yeah, I could become a surgeon, and you check the box, and you continue going to school and you take the classes they give you, and then you have a bunch of student debt, if you're in the US in particular, because I'm not going to comment on that. And then you get out of school, and then that's what you do, right? Like you're working in an office, you get the equipment, you repeat to people what you were told. It's certified by a board. Everybody's telling you that it's fine. End of story, right? So a LASIK surgeon isn't necessarily an evil bastard. It's just, it's little baby steps, right? Like we take little baby steps towards evil, and we never realize that we embody something that hurts other people. We don't, we're just like, yeah, I'm just doing my job, and I'm just going to school, I'm just taking the test, I'm just learning the thing, I'm just paying my student loans, I'm helping people. Like, that's all it is. But if you take a huge step back, right? If you had LASIK surgery and your eyes suck again, start looking at vision biology, right? Like, how boring are these videos? Like, look at the subscriber number on this channel. I mean, you have to torture yourself to watch this stuff with my face on it. Link below for the blog post, much better, to the point. But most people don't care. Like, it's hard to care about this stuff. Like when somebody says LASIK, I almost had LASIK. I almost went and almost got LASIK a long time ago because it was convincing. Like people with degrees said, yeah, it's a good idea. And then the equipment is like very impressive. And you hear all these success stories. So you go, yeah, I can do that. Can happen to anybody, but if it happened to you and your vision's worse again, you need to read the blog post below, because otherwise it's just going to continue to get worse. You can stop it from getting worse, but if you do nothing, right? Like the problem is that we don't start educating ourselves and we don't start to care till it is really pretty late. Like after LASIK, it's not, in some ways it's not too late because it's going to get worse if you do nothing about it, but it's pretty late. And we tend to just go, yeah, well, screw it. You have to learn a little bit about vision biology. You have to learn where myopia comes from. You have to learn how LASIK's no different from lenses. You have to realize how your close-up habits, especially with that lens, are screwing up your vision. And then you have to take corrective action, which is a little out there. Just a little out there. I mean, like, you might have to start doing things. You might have to start adopting better habits. You might have to start, if the recurring myopia is really low, maybe you have to do something like wear plus lenses, reading glasses for close-up. Like, you might have to do weird stuff to counteract what is otherwise irreversible, the LASIK thing. And that's what it is. Like, you either become educated and you know what's up, or you're sheeple and you're going to continue being exploited. And that's all there's to it. I hate to be the conspiracy theorist, because I don't think I am in general, but that's what it is. Like, if you don't learn the ways, like if you don't start understanding causation and you don't start understanding the root of the problem, then you're going to keep being sold stuff that's going to mess you up because it's profitable and nobody asks any questions. That's it. This could have been the longest rant so far. If you like this video, if you like ranty, random, disorganized videos, which all of these are, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Have you thought about LASIK, right? Like, I'm curious about this stuff. Have you thought about it? Have you done it? What's your experience with it? Call me an idiot. Mostly I get called an idiot in YouTube videos because, I mean, maybe they're right. And anyway, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.